Hey everybody, today's episode is about the midterms and if Trump is going to mess them up. Hey everyone, as I said in the intro, this episode is about the midterms and what Trump might do to threaten them. I've seen a lot of people online worried about how Trump might threaten the midterms, and so I wanted to address some of the common concerns and kind of figure out which ones are actually worth being concerned about and which ones not so much. First of all, I've seen some people worried about Trump potentially canceling the elections. Luckily, Trump can't do that because the elections are run by the states. They're not even really run by the states; they're run by districts within the states, so they're highly decentralized, which means that Trump doesn't really have any control there. So luckily, that's not a real threat. Another one I've seen people talking about and one I'm concerned about is Trump using ICE or the military or, militias to interfere with the elections by arresting people who are trying to vote or just threatening people who are trying to vote. And I think that could have a chilling effect, even if they can't arrest, as many people as they might want to stop from voting. But the thing there is that ICE just doesn't have the numbers to have a meaningful effect on the elections. I think right now they probably have maybe 20,000 people who are ICE agents working for them. So I don't think that they'd be able to have a meaningful effect on the elections, but they could theoretically target certain areas and cause some problems. So I think it's worth watching that. I think it's something that could very well happen, but I don't think it's something that would swing the election. Trump has talked a bit about wanting to nationalize the elections. So basically, as I said before, where states currently run the elections, he wants the federal government running the elections. Article 1, Section 4 of the Constitution says that states run the elections, but it also says that Congress can essentially change the rules to some degree if it needs to. So Congress could pass a bill that says that, the federal government's going to have more control over the elections. But that just seems unlikely at this time. They'd have to get that through the House and the Senate and then have Trump sign the bill. And I just don't see much interest in Congress for doing so. Republicans and Democrats in individual states like controlling their own elections. They don't really want to see them federalized. So I don't think that's a major concern here. The Voting Rights Act is an example of one time that we have changed how elections are run, to protect the rights of people of color to vote and things like that. But, that was a big bill. I don't think we're going to see anything like that anytime soon. One of the more alarmist concerns people have had is that Trump might, after people have voted, try to seize voting machines or ballots or what have you. I don't know if this is a serious threat. I mean, it would take a judge approving seizing machines or ballots and things like that for it to happen. I think if we got to this place where we were seeing actual agents go in and take the ballots away or whatever, we'd be in kind of a military dictatorship kind of situation. This would be blocked by judges or, people wouldn't cooperate on the ground. I don't think that it's likely that we're going to see that kind of situation. Another one I am worried about is the Trump administration has been requesting voter data from states, and it looks like they want to purge voter rolls of people they say aren't eligible to vote. So I would assume undocumented people. But, who knows if that's actually who they're going to target when they get this voter data. Most states are not complying with these requests for records, but some are. Purging voter rolls isn't necessarily a new thing. It happens all the time, but this could be a more targeted, corrupt version of that. So I do think that's worth keeping an eye on. I don't know where this is going. I just can't say right now. I think we need to keep an eye on it, and I think we need to kind of figure out what the game plan is here, what they're trying to do, and then we'll have more information probably in the coming months through reporting and through members of Congress kind of looking into this. So yeah, I think that's something to keep an eye on for sure. Another thing people might be hearing about is the SAVE Act that was passed by the House. This is basically a national voter ID bill. It would basically make it so you have to prove your identity and prove you're a citizen to vote. This passed in the House, as I said, but it doesn't look like it's going to pass through the Senate. One ironic thing about this is that one of the ways you can prove who you are and that you're a citizen is through a passport. And it appears that people in blue states are more likely to have passports than people in red states and red districts. So it might actually backfire if it were to pass, but it doesn't look like it's going to. It'd have to get through the Senate filibuster in order to pass because they don't have the votes otherwise. And it doesn't look like the Senate wants to get rid of the filibuster to pass this bill, so I don't think that's a major concern. But regardless, yeah, so I would say the two main concerns are presence of ICE in polling locations and the voter data situation. That being said, a lot can happen between now and the election. There could be new threats that we haven't even considered yet. There could be plans that are underway that we're not yet aware of. So I think we need to be concerned and aware of all of the things we can be aware of. This is an administration that doesn't respect democracy. It doesn't respect the rule of law. So we need to be always looking for the next threat and considering if it's real or if it's kind of a bluster or a plan that's not going to work. So yeah, that's it for today, and thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you at the next one.